Lowering your car's ride height is by far one of the most popular things enthusiasts do, not only to make their ride look sportier, but to increase performance as well. A lowered car normally means a stiffer ride and less suspension travel, which, if done right, can improve handling. The main reason I tend to do it to all my cars, well, to be quite honest, is to eliminate that undesirable wheel to fender gap that most cars have from factory. No matter what your reason is for lowering your car, a dip in ride quality is almost always a concern, especially if you're driving around terrible roads. So is there really a way to get all the benefits you get from lowering your car while still keeping the ride quality as close to OEM? Well, I think I might have just found the perfect solution for my M5, and today I'll share that with you guys. I'm super excited for this upgrade, guys. This is what the F10 M5 is getting. I don't typically choose to go with the dine-in tax items, but in this situation I kind of had to. Well, I also kind of wanted to, but there's not really a lot of options out there when it comes to different companies that offer this exact setup for the F10 M5. I did notice that only 15% of you guys that watch the channel are subscribed to the channel, so make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on. We got a lot of upgrades going on for the F10 M5 in the next coming weeks. E90 is going to come back to the channel as well. We got some exciting mods for that car as well. E46 and of course the E30 maybe. This is a dine-in high-performance adjustable coilover system, but wait, it's not what you guys think it is. When most people hear the word coilovers, they think of a full shock and spring assembly that completely replaces the factory setup that's on the car. The suspension system from dine-in is not really quite like that. It's what is normally known as coilover sleeves. You get everything you need to adjust the ride of your car while still keeping the factory shocks and all the features you get by keeping them. In my case, that would be the electronic dampening control. Here you have it, guys. That's everything you get in the package. This is the secret right here. This is how you get, your car to look much more aggressive. You can lower the car, increase performance while still keeping some of the original functions of the car itself, like the EDC, electronic dampening control, and keeping, for the most part, the OEM ride quality, which I know it's very important and very hard to do once you lower a car. Apparently this dining kit can do just that. Very nice of them to include an instruction booklet here, which is pretty cool. A lot of these components, I've bought some in the past, obviously not dining, but they don't typically come with instructions. You can normally either pull them up online or go on YouTube and find a DIY or something like that, but thorough instructions included with the package. This is a very easy way to make the car look so good. Obviously with the ride height sitting just right, the wheel spacers that I installed into the car, that combination is gonna... Yes. There she is, guys. That frozen black M5 that you guys love to compliment. Before he lifts it up, I want to show you guys exactly what it looks like right now. Here's the rear, what it looks like. It does have a 10mm spacer back there, so it's nearly flush. The height is almost perfect here. I think I would drop it maybe like a ½ an inch, 3/4 of an inch, just to make it perfect. As far as the front with BMWs, regardless, they're typically a little bit higher, or at least it appears to because of the bottom portion of the car. But this one's gonna need at least an inch to drop it to match the rear. Anyways, I'm just excited to get this done with. As always with every video, I'm going to try to go ahead and explain the concept behind what we're installing onto the car and maybe give you guys some tips if you're looking to DIY it. I'm excited. If you guys didn't watch the last M5 video, let me show you guys what I did to it yesterday. Check it out, guys. CSF charge coolers. Freaking sweet. I'm still not done with the engine bay. We're still gonna upgrade a few other things under here, like the charge pipes and something else, so stay tuned for that. If you guys want to watch that video, I'm gonna leave it linked down in the description below. This is a very important mod that solves 3 different issues with this car. It's a very good upgrade for the M6, the M5, also like the F80 M3, M4, even the F90 M5 as well. So this is something I think you guys want to see. So video linked down in the description below. So step number 1, we have to disassemble the interior, which I'm not too thrilled about. You guys might be thinking, like, why do we have to take off the interior stuff to change suspension components? According to this guy, F10 M5, that's how you do it. Unlike traditional BMW cars where you just go into the trunk, take all the fabric out and get to the strut. Not this car. Always use protection, guys. Use protection. Wow. By the way, if you guys need your BMW or Porsche worked on, I am at Precision Sport Industry. It's a local performance and maintenance shop here in the Central Florida area, Oviedo, Florida to be exact.
They're currently working on a new G80 M3. They're doing some modifications. I'll leave their information down in the description below if you guys want to bring your car here so you don't have to do the work yourself. Also, if you guys want to catch some of their G80 content, I'll leave a link down to their YouTube channel down in the description below as well. That's the one thing I hate about this car, damn wheels. I'll spend like 2 hours cleaning all the wheels. I drive 1 mile and they look like this. Literally, the damn brake dust, and I can't figure out a solution to this.
What you do is you put WD-40 on your brake pads.
WD-40 on the brake pads?
So there's less friction.
Oh. So I gotta make sure I go on the road that I don't have to brake. Yeah, this is atrocious. And then I try to look for ceramic pads for the 6-piston caliper, and it's just not a thing. I mean, you can go with the carbon ceramic brakes, but that's a very expensive option. If you ever have to replace it, you're pretty much screwed. And again, look how bad this is. Oh, that's crazy. I washed those wheels a few days ago. Oh, and by the way, these wheels are ceramic coated, and they're still pain to wash.
No,
but the caliper is pretty good. This one, we got this ceramic coated as well. That one actually comes out pretty good. It's just the wheel. I think it's just the color, the matte black, that you can just see everything. It turns, you know, from matte black to matte brown, like instantly. Like, so if I ever wash this car and I spend a good 3-4 hours cleaning it, detailing it, like I don't even drive it for the next week because I know the minute I drive it, it's gonna look like that.
This looks like bad plastic then.
You haven't heard? That's their new color.
Brake dust brown?
Yeah, brake dust brown. Which is another reason why I've been driving the E46 so much, is because once I clean this car, I don't even want to drive it for like a week. And then I drive it and I gotta wash it again. So E46 takes most of the beating, then I'll drive this car occasionally.
You should get spinners for this car, you peasant.
Yeah. I don't want to say something I'm gonna regret. By the way, these are the spacers that I chose to run on the F10 M5. They're from a company called Future Classic. They're pretty expensive for spacers, that's for sure, but they have this feature where it kind of bolts on to the hub here so it doesn't spin freely once you take the wheel off. If you guys want to watch that video, I do have that video also linked down in the description below. It's an easy way to make the wheel setup on your car look much more aggressive for not that much more money.
Now that most of the packaging was removed, let me show you everything that makes up this dining kit. You get some fresh, high quality bump stops with dust shields for all 4 struts to help keep the struts clear from road debris. This is what is known as the sleeve. This slightly taller one is used for the rear shock. This, along with the threaded perch, controls the height adjustment of the car. The springs included are 15% stiffer than the stock F10 M5, but not really sure how much stiffer than the competition package springs, which are on my car. These are isolator discs. As you're building your Lego coilover set, these sit in between each major piece. This is a spacer that sits in between the spring and the helper spring. And everything you see here packaged are small components used throughout the assembly process. It'll make a bit more sense as you get to see how all these parts work together as we're building it. First things first, the rear fender liner needs to be removed to get access to the top portion of the shock. Then the corner sides of the rear backrest get removed along with the speakers to get access to the strut nut. At that point, carefully remove the strut and disassemble everything.
Oh yes. This is how you know we don't do a lot of dining fucking suspension around here.
Do not work on vehicles supported by a jack only. Use secure jack stands.
I think we're pretty secured. Check. These are the competition springs. They're supposed to be slightly shorter than the non-competition model, and I think 15% stiffer or something like that. But check it out. It's a pretty big difference.
Okay. Only the upper mounts and upper spring pads will be reused.
This is one of those videos where it's a little bit difficult to explain to you guys what's going on because I'm not really familiar with coilover sleeves or this particular setup. Typically we'll swap out like the OEM strut for coilovers like the KW3s or stuff like that, or we'll just put some lowering springs and call it a day. But this one has a lot more parts that goes to it, so I try to voice over whatever I can so you guys can get a better understanding.
The instructions really make things super easy. Either follow the step-by-step instructions or glance over the diagram that tells you which order to install everything in. Just make sure to use the correct springs provided for the front and the rear.
Alright, this is what it's supposed to look like. This is the finished product. Once you follow the directions, put everything how it's supposed to go. Got the OEM top here, bump stop, dust boot, spring, helper spring, spacers.
Yes.
The one thing that's really annoying me and it's pretty confusing is these suspension packers that come included with the kit. Essentially, you get this chart here. Let me see if I can show you guys. Alright, so this page right here where it says Dynan's target bump stop clearance measurements as follows. Looks like for the M6, it says you got to use 1/8 packer in the rear, I guess, to get a target bump stop clearance. Doesn't show anything for the M5. But then once you get into the installation of the rear strut assembly, it does say you want to make sure that the clearance is correct. So this would go somewhere like up there where the bump stop is at. And the more packers you include, the more comfortable the ride. But then it takes a hit when it comes to handling. If you choose not to use these at all, there'll be a harsher ride, better handling. I just don't know how many to add. And it's not like a very simple thing to do. Actually, it might be kind of simple, right? Because they're split. You can just add them and take them off whenever you want. So I guess it'll be something like a feel. So I would have to drive the car once we installed all the suspension, see how it feels, and either add these or remove some to dial it into how I want it to drive, I guess. I don't know, I guess it'll be a trial and error process.
The same exact thing was done to the opposite side. Once you do it once, it's super easy to assemble everything without having to look at the instructions again. Dynan does say to start the height at a specific point, and that is to get the bump stop clearance as close as possible to their target number. The cool thing about the setup is that it's super simple to adjust the height. They include a tool, you insert it into the threaded perch and you rotate clockwise to raise it and counterclockwise to lower it. And the best thing is that you don't really have to remove the wheels to adjust the height. All you have to do is raise the vehicle.
There we go. So we got the rears on. This looks pretty dope. I like it. Essentially, this is where all the height measurement happens. This bottom threaded collar right here. It does come with a tool so you can adjust that on the fly.
Spin it clockwise.
Which way is that? Yeah, you see, this is where it gets complicated. Good luck trying to DIY this, guys. Unless you guys got some homies to help you out. The right tools, a lift.
Just gotta cut the panels off?
Let him get it.
So what they're trying to say is there's an infinite black hole up top. If you drop it, you'll never see it again. And I think Adam just dropped it.
No, I didn't.
I'm fucking with him.
I got it.
So there's an infinite black hole inside of the interior.
Yeah, so when you do this, you gotta put a magnet there just for, you know, insurance.
Because it'll either go in the inner fender liner or it'll go in the back here between the brace.
So you would have to cut the body panel off to get to it.
Yeah, well, you have to do a wide body on your front.
Building the fronts were slightly different than the rears, but not too much, but just enough to have to go back to the instructions to make sure we don't miss anything. I legit read everything on there, word for word, because when it comes to suspension, you kind of want things as perfect as possible.
All right, everything's installed. Let's see what kind of fitment we got and what we have to adjust. Is that it?
We're excited.
What are we?
It's here.
It's here. Yo, this looks pretty stockish up front.
I mean, it did lower.
It did lower. Remember, you haven't rolled it back and. Yo, this is freaking low back here though.
That looks good.
That looks good?
That looks good.
Wow.
That's not OG spec.
I need 21-inch wheels. That's what I need. Wow. That's actually pretty spot on.
Told you.
Dude, this is slammed on this side. Is it because of the shadow, maybe?
Yeah.
Holy crap. Ooh, dude, this looks nice. Woo. Yeah, but up front, it's
The backwards rake.
Bro, that sits low back there. Ooh. Jeez.
Fixed it.
Is that it? Ooh. That's pretty damn low. At least there's enough room so I can put some tire shine in the damn tire. All right, here's what we got. This is as good as it's gonna get, I guess. Here's the front. And here's the rear. Obviously, it's a matte black car, black wheels, hard to see what we got going on here. So I'm gonna wash the car probably tomorrow, and I'll show you guys what the finished results look like. Then we'll get the car here on the alignment rack, line it up, make sure it's fully functional, give you guys a test ride and give you guys my impressions. So it's been a few weeks since we installed a Dynon suspension onto the M5. I wanted to take my time to make sure that the suspension properly settles in, and then get the guys at PSI to align it. I also played with the height of the car multiple times. I must have lowered it and raised it like 20 times. I was so picky. I wanted to get it perfectly dialed in. So let me show you guys what the finished product is. All right, so it's matte black on matte black, so it's pretty damn hard to see what the fitment looks like from back here. So let me get a little bit closer. Man, did that height come out perfect. I didn't want to do it too much. I wanted to be able to see the top portion of the tire sidewall. This came out perfect. The 10mm spacer in the back is very, very good. It doesn't rub. I'm very pleased with the height of the back. And of course, the front of the car normally is the one that sits a little bit higher. I matched it as close as I possibly could to the rear. And I think that came out pretty good as well. Plenty of room right here, even though it looks pretty aggressive from the side. There is plenty of room here. No rubbing. It doesn't hit the fender liner at all. And man, does that look good. Here's another angle right here. And check out this angle. I think this angle looks very, very pretty. Super aggressive. Sadly, I spent like 3 hours cleaning this car so I can show you guys the finished product. And then like 5 minutes into the drive, I kind of went by a construction site and the tires got a little bit dirty, and then the paint has like a layer of dust, but that's okay. Anyways, you guys kind of better see the fitment on this side. Check it out. Yeah, they came out spot on. I know a lot of you guys don't understand why us enthusiasts lower cars. I don't know, it just gives it a sportier look, and of course it's gonna improve handling and stiffness while driving the car. Not something people need for an M5, but I don't know, this car is pretty capable. Check it out, plenty of room. No rubbing issues. You still drive it like an M5, but it just looks that much sportier, that much more aggressive. Now that the suspension is properly dialed in, the ride height is exactly how I want it. The guys at PSI went ahead and aligned it. It's time to put the M5 through its paces and see what it feels like to drive the car with this particular setup. Two things that I'm looking for is the ride quality. Is it OEM-ish or is that BS? And also, does it feel like it gained performance handling-wise? Let's go ahead and do that now. In the M5, Dynon suspension installed, it feels stock-ish. As far as ride quality goes, obviously I haven't like really put it around turns or anything like that.
OEM plus.
I have the suspension set to comfort at the moment. Here's the thing. So my M5 has the competition package, so the springs are already stiffer anyways. So I don't think that upgrading to this Dynon suspension is gonna change it drastically because it was already lower. The springs were stiffer, and everything electronically was, I guess, I don't know, it was tweaked just a little bit from the regular M5 without the competition package. So it feels OEM-ish. If you have an M5 that doesn't have the competition package, you're probably going to notice a little bit of a difference. I don't think that too much. According to Dynon, you shouldn't feel too much if you stay within their boundaries of height adjustment. But this feels pretty good. And the best part is that I can, let's see, I'm gonna go M2, which I have to Sport Plus everything. That's the best part about it. Now I can stiffen it even more, right? I still have EDC. That's the best part about it, guys. You don't lose EDC. I get it. Some people don't really care about that. You can just do a coilover, a complete coilover upgrade, let's say from like KW, and you lose dampening, I guess. But I kind of want to keep the features that the M5 comes with from factory. I don't really want to ruin that. I want to keep that option. If I'm with the family, I want to keep it on comfort. If I feel like speeding or go for a spirited drive, I'll keep it on aggressive settings like Sport Plus for everything else. So you can definitely tell a difference. I'm on comfort right now for suspension. I'm on Sport, so yeah, it becomes a little bit stiffer. And then Sport Plus becomes a lot more stiffer, even more so before I added the coilover sleeves. So that's pretty cool. But as far as ride quality, this is where it's at. Let me see if I can find some turns and stuff like that so we can see how it feels around turns to see. Obviously you keep a lot of the OEM ride quality, but obviously you want to get some performance out of it, so we'll see how that works out. But from what I can tell, it's on comfort, and it's not as wobbly as it used to be on comfort. It's noticeably stiffer, just a bit. I don't know if that's mind tricks, but I think it feels a little bit more planted. Let's see, we'll put it on manual mode. Let's see here. Turn AC off temporarily. Oh yeah. So we can hear.
Why? So you can pick up power.
This car definitely doesn't handle like an M5 at all. Alright, there we go. Now it feels like an M5.
Oh god.
Hold on. That's not bad. I mean, is it much of an improvement versus like the competition setup with the springs and stuff? I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I don't think it's that much of a difference. I think with versus like the non-competition package M5, it would be more of a noticeable difference. But compared to the competition package, I don't feel much of a difference. It's a little bit tighter. And obviously, since the car is a little bit lower, it's just gonna be how do I put it? It's gonna stay planted a little bit better. But
I think we're just used to E90s.
Is that what it is?
I think so.
It's hard to go between cars.
Plus
right?
the E46, you could just throw it around corners like nothing.
That's the hard thing with me, right? So if you guys have been around the channel, I have an E90, I have an E46, so it's really hard to just drive between cars and tell you what the difference is when I do an upgrade. But I would say it doesn't drive like a boat. It looks sportier. It still drives very comfortable. And for the most part, you can go pretty fast around turns. Is it a 3 Series type of handling? No, not really, but this is exactly what I wanted for this car. This is an upgrade that a lot of people don't really agree with. They think that you should just go for the whole coilover setup. I like this. EDC.
Yeah, and the fist gap between the wheel and the fender is gone too. Which is,
I mean, let's be real, guys. How many of you guys actually lower your car for performance? I think most people do it because it looks aggressive, it looks sporty, and I think performance is like an afterthought for most people. I'm not saying the 1% of you guys.
Stance, dude.
Stance, dog. So I think it looks good. It feels comfortable. So not only does it look better, but it still feels comfortable, which was a must for the M5. E90, I don't really care. E46, I don't care. Those are driver cars. But this car, which is my daily, I take long road trips with, I want us to still feel comfortable, but still look very good. Maybe I'll upgrade the wheels pretty soon. That's the one thing I don't like. I feel like the 20-inch wheels look a little bit too small in this car. Either I go with Meteor tires or I go with 21-inch aftermarket wheels, which are super expensive for this car. But we'll see. Appreciate you guys watching. If you guys enjoyed it, please hit the like button. It really does help out the channel. Make sure to subscribe with the notification bell on. That way you guys do not miss out on my next video, which could be the M5, the E90, the E46, or the E30. Nah. Take care.
I was about to say.